Have you ever bought something you could not afford and felt sick about it the next morning? Have you ever said yes to a dinner, a trip, a night out, just because you did not want to look poor in front of people? Have you ever gone home after spending money you did not have and sat in silence wondering why you cannot stop? If you have felt this story will change something inside you. It is about a man who could not say no to anyone except himself, and the grandmother who taught him that one word could save his entire financial life. If this kind of story speaks to you, subscribe to this channel. Every week I share stories that teach what school never did about money. Every story holds a lesson. Every lesson builds wealth. There was a man named Daniel. He was 36 years old. He worked at a warehouse. He earned $3,200 a month. It was not a lot, but it was enough to live. If he spent it on his own life instead of everyone else's. Daniel never spent it on his own life because Daniel could not say no. It started small. His coworkers went out for lunch every day. Daniel went too. Not because he was hungry. He had food at home. Because saying, "I brought lunch," in front of 5 people felt like admitting something he was not ready to admit. So he spent $15 a day to sit at a table and feel normal. That was $300 a month just to avoid a conversation. Then it got bigger. His friends planned a weekend trip. Daniel knew he could not afford it. He checked his account 3 times. He almost said no. Then his friend said, "Come on, man, you only live once." Daniel put $1,400 on his credit card. He told himself he would pay it next month. He did not pay it next month. Then it got worse. His coworker bought a new phone. His brother bought a new phone. Daniel's phone worked fine. But walking into a room with an old phone felt like walking in with a stain on his shirt. So he financed a new one. $1,200 added to the credit card. Every decision started the same way. Someone else did something. Daniel felt small. Daniel spent money to make the feeling go away. The feeling always came back. But the charges never left. After 2 years of this, Daniel owed $23,000. No savings. Credit cards nearly full. He earned $3,200 a month and spent $3,400. The extra $200 went on plastic. Every month. Like a slow drip filling a bucket, he refused to look inside. He did not sleep well anymore. He checked his phone at night. Not for messages, but for balance alerts. He smiled at work. He laughed at lunch. He went on the trips. But inside, he was drowning. And the worst part was that he was drowning because of a word he could not say. 2 letters. 1 syllable. No. One evening, Daniel drove to see his grandmother Ruth. She lived in a small house at the edge of a quiet town. The house was simple. 1 bedroom. A kitchen with a table and 2 chairs. A garden out back with neat rows of vegetables. Everything in that house had a purpose. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was extra. Ruth made tea. She placed 1 cup in front of Daniel. She did not ask what was wrong. She never had to. She had known this boy since the day he was born. She could read his face the way she read the weather. By the clouds. Daniel sat for a long time before he spoke. Then he told her everything. The debt. The lunches. The trips. The phone. The credit card bills he had been hiding in a drawer under his bed. The shame. The fear. The feeling that he was falling and could not grab anything to stop it. Ruth listened. She did not interrupt. She did not gasp or shake her head. She just listened. When he was finished, she stood and walked to the window. Outside, the garden was still. The sun was going down. "Do you see that garden?" she said. "I have been growing food in that soil for 40 years, and every year I plant only what I can take care of. Not what my neighbor plants, not what looks impressive from the road, only what I can water, feed, and protect with my own 2 hands." She turned back to Daniel. "Your money is like that soil. It can grow something real, something that feeds you, but only if you stop letting everyone else plant in it. Daniel stared at the table. I just don't know how to say no, Grandma. I don't want people to think I'm cheap. I don't want to be the guy who can't keep up. Ruth sat down. She folded her hands on the table and looked at him the way she used to look at him when he was 8 years old and lying about who ate the last piece of cake. Daniel, the people you are trying to impress, do they pay your rent? No. Do they lie awake at night worrying about your credit card? No. Do they even think about you after you leave the restaurant? Daniel said nothing. Then, you are burning your house down to keep strangers warm. And one day, when there is nothing left to burn, those strangers will be at someone else's table. And you will be standing in the ashes alone. If this story is speaking to you, tap the like button. It helps more people find these stories. Thank you. Daniel drove home that night in silence. He did not turn on the radio. He did not check his phone. He just drove. Ruth's words were sitting in his chest like a stone that had been waiting to land. The next day at work, his coworkers asked him to lunch. Daniel said no. He pulled a container from his bag. Rice and vegetables. Nothing special. One coworker looked at it and said, "What happened? You broke." Everyone laughed. Daniel's face went hot. His hands were shaking under the table. But he opened the container and ate his food. He did not go. That Saturday, a friend texted about a bar downtown. Daniel typed no and set his phone down. He sat at his kitchen table and pulled out every credit card statement he had been hiding. He opened them one by one. His hands were trembling. The total was $23,400. He stared at it for a long time. Then he picked up a pen and wrote the number on a piece of paper. He taped it to his bathroom mirror. That number was his new enemy. And for the first time, he could see its face. Daniel built a budget. Not a complicated one. Income on the left. Survival expenses on the right. Rent, food, gas, utilities, minimum payments. Everything left over. $400 a month. Aimed at his smallest debt. A $900 store card. He canceled 3 subscriptions he had forgotten about. He deleted the food delivery app. He told his friends the truth. I am in debt. I am fixing it. I cannot spend money on things I don't need right now. Some friends said they understood. Some stopped texting. Daniel let them go. It hurt. But not as much as $23,400 hurt. After 2 months, the store card was dead. Zero balance. He held the statement and stared at it. He had never paid anything off in his life. Not once. And now, a piece of paper was telling him that one chain was broken. He rolled that payment into the next card. $2,100. It fell in 4 months. After 8 months, Daniel had paid off $6,800. He had $1,200 in a savings account he opened the same week he started. He still packed lunch. He still said no to things he could not afford. But it no longer felt like punishment. It felt like something else entirely. It felt like control. Every no was a brick in a wall he was building around his future. And for the first time in his adult life, the wall was protecting him instead of closing in on him. After 14 months, he had paid off $11,000. The mirror had crossed out numbers trailing down the glass like a scoreboard. The number at the bottom was getting smaller. His sleep was getting better. The tightness in his chest was loosening. One evening, Daniel visited Ruth again. He brought her flowers from the grocery store. Nothing expensive. He sat at her table and told her the number. She smiled. Not a big smile. The quiet kind. The kind that a woman gives when she has been praying for something, and it finally showed up. The garden is growing, she said. Daniel nodded. It finally is. If you are watching this right now, you do not need to change everything tonight. Just start with one no. The next time you are about to spend money you do not have, on a meal, a trip, a thing you do not need, pause. Ask yourself one question. Am I buying this because I need it, or because I cannot say no? If the answer is no, walk away. That one moment of discomfort is the price of your freedom. If you are over 30 and feel like you are behind, you are not too late. You just need a plan and the courage to say no until that plan works. Subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who spends to impress people who are not watching. And leave a comment. What is one thing you need to start saying no to? Write it down. That is your first step. This story is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making financial decisions. Every story holds a lesson. Every lesson builds wealth. I will see you in the next one.